All right, let's do this before it gets any later. It's already 10 o'clock here, April 14th, 2026. So, I mean, look at it, up again. So, first thing, there's a few things here, right? Firstly, yesterday's daily candles were bullish engulfing. They played out, right? We gapped open a little bit and we just clawed all the way across the day. So we put in a new cycle high of 69.69, which is just 33 points shy of the January historic high of 7,002. An incredible run. So of course, now we have a new downside gap, little one, and of course now we have the ceasefire gap. Bears can still absolutely look for a tag for a cooling wave to the orange gap, but I would accept red gap is now looking like dreamland or fantasyland, whatever you want to call it. I mean, really. I mean, wow. Again, momentum still ticking upwards. Zero sign of a turn. I would keep in mind that Wednesday, Thursday, we should see a cooling wave. I mean, purple, you got to think purple gaps. We're going to retrace to that, right? Either tomorrow or Thursday. Keep in mind Friday is OPEC, so that would be choppy. So Wednesday, Thursday should see some cooling. Friday, chop fest. And in clearly, orange gap doesn't look realistic until any earlier than Monday. Well, this was some bad news, but yeah, this is clearly a massive issue. But for now, this is a massive ramp, 10% in 11 days. Incredible, really. VIX. So I don't know, VIX has come down from the 31s to the 17s. It did. I will note that in the morning, the VIX floored around 10 o'clock, whereas equities kept going. But the VIX didn't go down any further, so we're finding some support here. It's very subtle, but it is notable that S&P broke a new high in the afternoon, but the VIX did not. And yeah, equity orange gap syncs up with green gap. So I guess this should also be probably labeled ceasefire gap, right? Momentum is on the low end, very close to flooring. Oh, clearly, though, it's not going to turn positive until probably not next week. Maybe next week, but certainly by early May, we should see momentum turn positive again when uh, exciting things could happen. All right. Let's just flash through some individuals' charts before I get tired. And I am tired. I'm burnt out. It's scary. Relative to the main market, the Apple is distinctly stuck. Look at all these little tiny spikes around the 50 days. So we're trapped. We're finding support at the 200 day, but we're resistance at the 50 day. Not so great, huh? This is one giant cap stock that just it's a choppy mess. Yeah, what's that? Black candle? No. American Eagle down 1.7. That's not great. First Majestic up 3%. AMD up 3 again. If you see AMD above 267, that would be a very bullish signal. But one little thing I need to get rid of this little gap. Uh, all right, the Amazon. Yeah, that's right. Amazon bought Global Star, ticker GSAT, for $11 billion. So this could be a pretty fierce competitor to SpaceX slash Starlink. I'm not exactly sure what Global Star do in terms of consumer telecoms. I don't know, but Amazon's branching out. I mean, remember they bought Whole Foods, right? And now they own a satellite company. Quite a range. RSI 76, we are overbought. No doubt about that. American Express up 1%. Nobody cares, but look, it's almost filled green gap, which has been my concern since it came down here flawed. Again, look at that 200-day, 333, just below the top of the gap. So it's going to be prone to stalling here. I mean, this is massive resistance. So, you know, also, by the way, yeah, yesterday's bullish engulfing candle played out as they usually do. Barrick mining, almost said Barrick Gold. I mean, look, this is kind of like this, right? It is still stair stepping down, and I see that as a problem. Again, loads of stocks had bullish engulfing candles playing out yesterday. Bank of America has earnings tomorrow morning. BlackRock. Look at that. That's interesting. We have a spiky candle from the 200-day. Also, we have a downside gap to fill. And of course, we have the ceasefire gap for BlackRock is there, right? So, don't be surprised if this comes back down to 960 or so, which is 8-9% down. Blackstone up 3.7%. So again, yesterday's candle was bullish. Next resistance is, I've not marked it on here, but there is a gap around here. You know what? I should probably mark it on now. Because if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? That's not it. It will not be easy to clear that area. Caterpillar, chop. Kamiko, down 0.5%. Carnival pushing against the 200-day, which is where it stalled last Wednesday. And so we again look at Carnival. Yes, they had a reversal candle, so that played out. So yeah, watch this one again. There is an upside gap all the way to 31s. Cleveland Cliffs don't care. Coinbase don't care. Disney breaking through above the 50-day. Again, basically flawed. I mean, it didn't quite get the 91s, but it's close enough, right? So that's a gap fill. Ford got upgraded by UBS, which I see as stupid. Freeport trying to break a new historic high. Today's candle is actually a black candle, so that's bearish for Wednesday. Google had a strong day, 3.6%. Little structure of a baby bull flag played out. Nothing bearish there. RSI 69s, we are borderline overbought. Again, look, every time we get above around 70, this does start selling off every single time. Sometimes it just kind of chops sideways a little bit, but it does lean on the weaker side. So we're up there. We're due some cooling. Home Depot, no sign of turn now. Again, that's another miner with a black candle. Intel, yeah, I mentioned this in the morning. I see Intel as, I mean, Intel led the way up, and arguably it's a precursor warning of maybe some cooling. We have basic downside of yellow gap, which is the ceasefire gap. So, we should see some cooling to 50, 53s, 52s. Really? And I mean, that's almost 17, 18% down, which is a long way, but we've had a truly insane ramp from $40 to 65, which is, what is that? What is that? 55% or something? JP Morgan fine earnings, but they typically sell off the financials. The KKR, yesterday's candle was scary strong. And we had some follow through today, another 2%. There's no real, there's not much resistance here. I mean, there's a little bit, but I'm leaving it alone. Yesterday's candle was completely spooked me out of this one. Kinder Morgan down with oil. Meta platforms up 4.4%. Again, kind of microstructure was a baby bull flag from the 50-day, much like Google. MP Materials, black candle. Microsoft powering upwards, 2.3, pushing against for 50-day. Again, if you get another close above here, I would accept this old green gap. That would be the natural magnet. One to watch. Micron, 9%. That's wild. Netflix, 3% earnings due on Thursday. Note that we're at key price threshold, teal gap, and for 200 days. So we're at triple resistance. Again, if we go a little bit higher, then the next target will be 115. Earnings Thursday should be fine. Nike catching a bounce, 3%. But again, this is horrible. Look at this. It's just midterm horror. Nvidia up 3.8%. I mean, look, we're above resistance. Next resistance is 197 and then 212. So yeah, watch for 197 or more. If we stall, we'd come back down to the MAs, which is around 182. Choppy Ondas, Occidental. Yesterday's black candle played out, coming down to the 50-day. And again, we have a big orange gap here around 49/50-ish. Pan American Silver, another miner with a black candle. Palantir up 2.5%. PayPal, that's a no, it's not a black candle. Red Cat down 2%. Don't care about Transocean. Rocket Lab, black candle. SMR, black candle. Target, trying to bounce off the 50-day. Tesla, 3%. Today's candle is a little spiky from this big old price threshold that goes back a year. I mean, look, how many times have we seen 3 or 4 days up? And every time it leans back and goes back down and breaks a lower low. United Airlines up 2.1%. It's a bit, the gains were shaky. But yeah, you can also see that today's candle is a little bit spiky from under the 200-day and the 50-day intersecting there. Yesterday's candle was a reversal that played out. And you can still argue all of this is some kind of gigantic bearish wedge, pennant, whatever. But clearly it's not going to be confirmed until you go into 84. Of course, the talk today was that United might merge with American Airlines, but, you know, I see that as a sign of weakness, not strength. Exxon down 2% because of oil. Let's jump to gold and silver. Let's just look at GLD. Yesterday's candles in GLD, silver, and the miners, they were all reversal candles, hollow red reversals, which lent bullish for today, and that played out. So gold was officially up around roughly $97, 2.2%, and now we're facing a green gap resistance. It will not, in fact, it will be very difficult to go much higher against here. And all of this, you could argue, is a multi-week bear flag. This is not bullish at all. This is bearish. We should lean back down in the days ahead. Silver's much the same. Reversal candle yesterday. We're now at resistance. Should lean back down. Same for GDX. We're not going to even look at that. Let's just jump to commodity oil. Officially, commodity oil was down $6.93, 7%. Yesterday's black candle played out as they usually do. So we officially settled at 92.15. That was just above last week's low of 91. Cyclically, we're on the low end. No sign of a turn though yet. Try not to get distracted by the biggest cycles today. Let's start with USO on a 5-minute. So I was hoping, I said it yesterday, I was hoping that USO would open down so I could buy it. USO opened down roughly 0.8%. We had an opening reversal candle, but then we did lean a bit weak. So I bought a block, bought my first block around here. And then after that, of course, it immediately plunged, which was kind of annoying. But that's okay. I bought a second block. Um, yeah, I bought a second block about there. So one block there, and it's like, okay, chop, 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 chop across the rest of the day. We did have a marginal low from 123s. We did briefly break that at 122s, but a lot of chop. We have an upside gap, of course, we need to deal with tomorrow or Thursday, probably. Um, yeah, I'm not going to worry about this. Looking at a 15-minute chart, which I didn't even start to analyze. Yeah, like we have a marginal double floor 123, 122. I mean, in my view, we have a good chance of getting green gap tomorrow morning, which is 127, 128. That would be $4 up. That would be free. So I'm looking for a 3 to 4% upside gap tomorrow. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I'm guessing there's a pretty reasonable chance that we will. We would note this big key price threshold around 129. You see the market loves this stuff. Look at the spikes. Look at this. Look at that spike there, and the market was having maxed out here. So one level to you if we see USO back above, say just call it 130 actually. A break back above 130 would be pretty damn bullish. Also, cyclically, we're on the low end relative to yesterday morning. And on an hourly chart, which I guess is where we should probably... No, actually, we'll just look at this first. So on an hourly chart, momentum was peaked yesterday morning, cooled all the way across into this early afternoon, and we're now on the low end. I mean, certainly relative to last Tuesday. Look at last Tuesday, Monday. Massively on the high end. Also, again, note these black candles. They usually play out to some degree. But yeah, we're in terms of RSI, we're kind of on the lower end. We're certainly not on the high end. And again, today's price action was after the initial morning cooling, we kind of stabilized, and Upper Bollinger is offering 132 in theory, but if I can get 127, 128 tomorrow morning, I'll take it. And the only other thing to cover is the daily chart, which, yeah, when I said it yesterday, black candle should be down at least at some point on Tuesday. So we opened weak, closed down 3.6%, and that played out. See that one there played out. That black candle played out there. There's one there. There's one that played out a little bit. But yeah, that's quite a good black candle that played out. So I bought after the black candle told me to wait until Tuesday morning. So now I wait for a bounce. So I'm going to hope that Wednesday opens up 3 to 4%, which would turn both my blocks green, especially the second one. I mean, broadly, my plan is to be long oil across the weekend and net long into early May. Maybe we'll end with we'll end with this chart. So whilst the month is still young, we're only halfway there. this candle could easily turn positive, and we could settle the month easily above 110. I would not be surprised to see taking out the 119s before the end of the month. But I'm kind of thinking we do. And if we do, well, then the next stop is soft target 126 from Russia, Ukraine, and then 147s. I mean, the wave counts could say, hey, uh, initial push up, and this is some kind of B wave, two wave, whatever you want to call it. And it would do another surge, and the next surge should be pushing for 147. So anyway, interesting day. A lot of interesting geopolitical videos out there that I do recommend. Most of the people I highlight on my X feed every day. So you should know the names by now. So yeah, let's hope it's an interesting Wednesday. In theory, the market we should see at least one cooling wave before the weekend. At least one. I don't know what the excuse will be. It could just be cyclical. It could be adverse war news, whatever. But we should see at least some degree of cooling wave. I do not expect the market to just go up for another 3 days. That would be extremely surprising. Um, anyway, have a good evening and have a good Wednesday. Good night.